Welcome to part 3 of making my workbench. This time we'll be making the legs. So this is the stock that was ripped at the lumberyard. It's roughly 2 inches thick by 1.5 inches wide. So it's roughly a square but more like a rectangle. I'm cutting a shoulder that is 4.5 inches back, and the legs are about 2 feet long, which will be trimmed to length later. I'll be making a 45-degree cut because as you can see we will be needing to take out waist around here, right? So basically allowing that 45 cut, making that 45-degree cut will allow us to split off the waist here without worrying and splitting into the back of the leg. So just like this, and make sure you don't go too deep. So this looks about perfect. After the saw cuts have been made around on the leg, I'm gonna start chiseling out the waist. So we will be forming the tenon that goes into the round mortise that we made into the bench. So it's 1.5 inches in diameter. So I'm just gonna be using chisels to chisel out the waist that is there around the leg that we had cut. So I will just use a chisel and make sure that I follow the line carefully and be extremely careful not to split out any waist. So small cuts to gently take out material and pair it with a knife later. After that's done, we're gonna need to form a slight taper. So this is called staked construction, and this allows that so there's no leverage that the bench can break or find weaknesses between the leg and the top. So with chisels, I'm just gonna form a gentle taper. Like it's a slow and shallow taper, but reaches down to the base of the tenon that we had just carved. So you can use a chisel, spoke shave, and even a saw to remove some material. But I found a chisel works very well, and a knife, like a carving knife, also works very well in addition to that. So you can see I'm just like paring out some material because it was a bit too big. So you can do that with sandpaper, files, whatever to make the fit proper. But make sure it's not too loose, otherwise it won't fit properly and there'll be a big problem. After doing a dry fit to make sure the legs fit in properly, not too loose and not too tight, we're gonna start working on securing the legs. So we're gonna use a wedge to secure it in. So you need to saw a slot that is perpendicular to the grain running in the top of the bench. This will prevent the bench from splitting. So just use a handsaw and saw a slit in the tenon perpendicular to the grain on the bench, and you can run a bit of sandpaper between the slot to make it a little wider. After that, I start applying glue everywhere inside the wedge and around the legs and the taper that's on the legs, and make sure it's in the hole as well. Here you can put a lot of glue, so even if it squeezes out, that's good. So you know there's glue everywhere. I just used a glue bot, and you can find a link to this and many other tools that I used in this build. You can buy them with the affiliate links down below. It would really help support my channel. And after that, I put a little bit of glue. So these wedges, it would be like the best if they are hardwood, but I like maybe you can use walnut. I used some old Burmese teak. It was it's a pretty good hardwood. So I use my mallet and pound them in. Don't drive them in too much, otherwise the legs might split. Just stop when you feel a bit of resistance. So after that's done, I'm just gonna let it dry. Now I'll use a flush cut saw to cut out the protruding part. So it's good that there's something protruding, so you know that the legs aren't too short. You can use a flush cut saw or you can use a Ryoba saw. In this case, it doesn't really make that big of a difference. After the legs have been secured into the mortises with the wedges, it is imperative that we level the legs. So here I'm just taking a block plane and I've taped a pencil on the block plane and I'm striking a line. So I am doing this on top of marble. So because this marble is really flat, so and the block plane it's like parallel, so it would just give me a line, so that this line is parallel to the flat marble floor. So now this would basically this line that I'm doing, it basically makes the entire thing level. Like it shows where I need to cut to make sure that the leg is level. And after we have done that line, I took a marking gauge. After marking the line with the marking gauge, I just take the Ryoba saw and cross cut off on the line. So obviously because it's a cross cut, you're going to use the cross cut teeth. So I just do that simply with the Ryoba saw, and then I do that on all four legs and it's level. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did and you learned something new, please do like, share, comment, subscribe. It really helps support me.
Thanks. Have a great day.